we were discussing in detail some of my astrological speculations about the COVID virus and the comet, and more specifically the perihelion of Comet Neowise, which appeared in March and made its perihelion on July 2nd and is now back out into moving along into outer space. Although there are people photographing it, with spectacular results. So it's very pretty. But it's what they didn't tell us is, and I'm telling you, is it's sneaky. It's a sneaky comet. Now let me say something about the practice of astrology, which I used to practice astrology, meaning to say I used to have clients. And of course, with the kind of astrology we're doing here, this is like a Frankenstein movie. People want to hear awful, awful things predicted, see. And then when they don't come true, everybody's happy. Whereas if people go for their horoscopes, their personal horoscopes, they want the astrologer to be all peaches and cream. No, they don't want to hear anything awful, like, they're going to die. They want to hear they're not going to die. Although I had a lady come to me once upon a time that she says, I want to know if I'm going to die. And she was very practical about it. She says, if I'm going to die, then I have to, clean up my affairs here and so on. But if I'm not going to die, she just retired from being a school teacher. If I'm not going to die, I want to go to Europe first. And see Europe. I've been waiting to see Europe for my whole life, and then I'll come back, and then I don't care, then I can die for all I care. But I want to know if I have time to go to Europe before I die, and so I was right that time. I told her that you're not going to die, so she went to Europe, and came back and eventually died, of course. So peaches and cream, but people more or less, they want to know, they're going to win the lottery, they're going to meet a dark, handsome man, so on. On the other hand, when you look on YouTube for predictions of dire forecasts, you want to hear awful, awful things. So this is the awful, awful portion of what I do. Okay. And anyhow, is there any foundation for astrology? Well, that's tenuous. I personally believe it works, kind of. And then you have your astrologer being the intermediator between something that is a cosmic force or, a cosmic clock. And what does it all mean? And it can get. That's where a little bit of artistic license is allowed. This is show business, right? So anyway, however. This is the show business of the apocalypse. It's like the horror film. Anyway, that's an aside. Looking into my profession of astrology. What I really want to talk about, though, is the sneakiness of the COVID virus. Well, we know that. We know that viruses basically are sneaky. This particular sneaky virus is sneaky because you don't know you have it for a few weeks. Then you go around spreading it to everybody else. Now, the comet, and I'm going to kind of use the word the comet and the virus interchangeably because I'm getting them all mixed up in my head. But the comet was an astronomical fact. As astrologers, we take those astronomical facts and try to put meaning to them, which may or may not really exist, but I personally think that it does exist. And in this case, the comet made its perihelion, or closest approach to the sun, in 29 and change of Gemini, which is almost, but not quite, 0 of Cancer. And then there was a new moon a few weeks before the comet made its perihelion in 0 of Cancer, where the sun and the moon made a conjunction on the first day of summer in 0 of Cancer. So you have the cardinal mathematical point of 0 of Cancer, which is exactly 90 degrees from the vernal equinox and so on. But the 0 of Cancer represents the sun's highest point in the sky as seen from the Earth, and that's what 0 of Cancer means to us. But anyway, that's important. But the comet arriving just on the sneaky side of 0 of Cancer, and I would I've explained or tried to explain that when something is to the 29 side of Gemini, let's say 29, that's on the hidden side or the sneaky side of 0 of Cancer, you see. So looking into, what's so sneaky about it, in the previous little talk, I called it the inscrutable Oriental virus. And I should have said the inscrutable Oriental comet, I guess, but the comet's not Oriental. It's from outer space, so we have to drop the Oriental. As much as that used to sound good in 1920, and right now it's politically incorrect to talk about inscrutable Orientals. That's not done anymore. Although, fashions change. Trump is China bashing right now, and a lot of people are jumping on that bandwagon. So, I don't know if the politically incorrect inscrutable Oriental is going to make a comeback or not. But I would say that because there is something inscrutable about the virus and about the comet, that inscrutability is going to be a big point here. And so we ourselves may be inscrutable too, but we prefer to project that if it's negative, or we prefer to project that onto other people. The sinister side of things we prefer to project onto others. Now, parenthetically, I guess I'm going to be doing a lot of bullshitting, I guess, on this. There's a right and left-hand side of the face. Now, I don't know how these cameras work, but this, in this case, is my left side, see? And if you take a sheet of paper and you just block out the right side, and you look at the left side, and if this were a mirror, then, you would see the left side person is quite different than the right side person, which would be this, see? This is the smiley guy, the right-hand guy. Is the smiley guy, or at least I try to be smiley, and whereas the left-hand guy is the inscrutable, mean guy, and even shown in shadows, according to the lighting of this room, which is mainly sunlight, by the way. We have the studio is a daytime only studio here, but if we were to take a mirror and put the left side on both sides, then you would see what the person is like on his hidden manifestation. And if you take the right side, and this is for right-handed people, then you see what he wants you to see, which is the nice, cheery person. So now, is this in reverse for left-handers? Yeah, maybe. And what about for people that are really left-handed but were taught to be right-handed, as might be the case in my case, then where are you? So the hidden side, the inscrutable side, it becomes more and more convoluted, and yet we could probably cut through all this convolution, and some 10-year-old would probably give you the right answer to that. It's really, they used to say, what is the sound of one hand clapping? And my 10-year-old niece went whack. That's the sound. In other words, let's cut through the nonsense. Nevertheless, there's something sneaky about this comet. There's something sneaky about this virus. And this also means, because we believe that as above, so below, if the comet is being sneaky, well, people are being sneaky too. And that's the government, which is usually sneaky, but in this case being more sneaky than usual. Newspapers that are, and politicians that are always sneaky. Well, this time they might actually tell you the truth, knowing that you won't believe them anyway, because we are so used to them being sneaky. I mean, we're not stupid after all. Much as the human race may be stupid and misguided, you can't fool all the people all the time, as Abraham Lincoln said. You can't, people. And when it comes to judging faces and judging sincerity of human things, then your average guy on the street is just as clever as your politician. Although some of the politicians may be unusually gifted in reading people, and that's why they became successful politicians. So the politicians may have a little more of it, even than the average guy. But the average guy is not stupid, and the average guy can read a face and tell if it's an honest face or not, and based on first impressions. Then, of course, when we start talking, that's why language was probably invented, for obfuscation, because we didn't really want people to know the truth. And language has this necessary component. Language, we need to have accurate words for saying a wolf is coming. You better run up that tree. A wolf is coming. And yet, once we've managed to communicate, real facts, then, some clever person is going to say, well, I could fool them. I could fool this guy. I could tell him a wolf is coming, and he'll jump up the tree, and then I'll grab his lunch and, run away. So we begin to use language to be deceitful. No sooner have we got it in our arsenal. So thank you. I guess we call this intermission, because we have to get back to the hard facts next issue. Thank you.